Hey guys, calling back with another video this week. Um, I mostly have records and I have a few books. Um, it's really hot here today, so I have the air conditioner off, and if you start seeing me sweating, it's like 95 today, probably around 100 with the heat index, and this is a humid hot, so it gets really sticky like. Um, And we'll just get right to the record. Again, it's another mixed up hodgepodge of stuff, which I don't really have a particular theme on each video, which I don't know if I should, but I'll just keep doing things the way I've been doing them. And first off, we have the Stone Temple Pilots reissue. And I'm sorry, I forgot to turn down the glare or the screen on my laptop, so you're going to get some glare. Core, this is a good album. I had this on a cassette tape back in the 90s. This is another one of those guys that just couldn't deal with his drug problem, and he left the world too early. That's that. And here we have Patti Smith. I may already have this album, and if I do, I'll trade one of them. This is Patti Smith, Horses. I just started listening to her music in the last year or two. And she's also has some very good books out. If you're a reader, go check out Patti Smith's books she has out. Gordon Lightfoot, Gord's Gold. Now, this doesn't have the wreck of Edmund Fitzgerald on it. I was a little disappointed, but it's a pretty good album. When I was a kid back in grade school, we went and visited my aunt, and she lives right next to Lake Superior. And even back then, I was thinking about that song I remember hearing, and I looked out on the water, and I thought the Edmund Fitzgerald's down there somewhere. At that time, they still hadn't went and tried to explore or find it. At that time, I don't think. They may have charted it or something, but I don't think they sent anybody down till later on the National Geographic Channel, or somebody went down there and recovered the bell and put another bell down there with all the souls that lost their lives that night. And that's a pretty good documentary. I really enjoyed that one too. Stevie Wonder, My Cherie Amour. A lot of classic songs on this one. This is a classic album. Early Stevie there. And here we have Nancy Sinatra. How does that grab you? You probably know her from These Boots Are Made for Walking. And she's wearing a pair of those boots there. But brown ones. I really like her music. But I also kind of had a little thing for her because she's a very attractive lady back in the day, and even when she got older and posed for Playboy and whatnot, she probably is about my mom's age now, if not older. I don't even if she's still around. I don't know. I think I already have this too, but here's another one. The Head on the Door, The Cure. This is another one of those records I got back on a cassette when I first started school. I had my Walkman cassette player, like everybody did. Cassettes were kind of the thing back then. CDs were just now kind of catching on. Here we have the Pretenders, the singles. Also, talking about CDs, they were very expensive at first, so cassettes were the cheaper way to go. Anyway, the Pretenders singles, and this is basically their greatest hits album with Back on the Chain Gang and Middle of the Road. I just decided to get this, and I'm not going to get any more Pretenders. I say that now, but I never know. You never know what I'm going to do in the future. Because I still have to do the old record purge thing here in the next week or two. Because I have a lot. Even in the next 2 rooms, there's records, and I need to start letting some of those go because a lot of them are just sitting there and they're not being listened to for 2-3 years now. I'm like, well, I might want to listen to that sometime. Well, sometime should be now and not wait. But the ones that They gotta go, people. Anyway, Pretenders singles. And here's a guy, I don't have any of his music yet. Leonard Cohen, or Cohen. How do you say his name? Cohen? Cohen, is the H silent? Songs from a Room. And he's one of those characters, I think, that you either like him or you don't like him. Kind of like Tom Waits, which is another record I'm going to show here in a minute. Leonard Cohen, I'm Your Man. And like I was saying, Tom Waits, Foreign Affairs. I may already have this, but I'm pretty sure that I don't have this one, Foreign Affairs. And Tom Waits, there's really no in between. You either love him or hate him, because a lot of people get put back by his voice in his later albums where he does that gravelly, like that sort of thing. He sounds like Oscar the Grouch sometimes. But in his earlier records like this, he didn't do that so much. And now, lastly, record, we have the Planet of the Apes soundtrack. You guys all remember these movies. Now, they do have these on a set at Walmart that I want to get sometime. All the old Planet of the Apes. What do you guys think of these new Planet of the Apes they've been coming up with? To me, I just think they're using too much CGI. Most of the characters in that movie are computer animated. Now, back in these days, it was makeup that they actually used, and it was actually a person that you were seeing on the screen in their makeup, and they did a pretty good job on this one. And I really think they need to get back to this type of stuff. It was more artistic to me than just making something on a computer. You know, I can't do anything like that on a computer, but I just think they're using way too much of that now and not using the actors' acting ability like they should be. They're using their voice, but not, you don't get their some of their facial expressions. Now, I have a couple more of these song lyric books. I'm not really going to say anything about them. I just want you to, if you can, down in the opinions, tell me what you think of these covers. And this first one is from around 1917. The Darktown Strutters Ball. I'll be there to get you in the taxi, honey. And you look at the cover of that and the artwork that's on it. And here's the next one. Same thing. But this one, I want you to look at the title of the song and the artwork together. Here, down here, we have some kids playing, frolicking about and whatnot with their doggy. And you go up here and you look at the artwork for that next, the character up there standing at the gate of the fence. And what must be her mother back there in the background. And then the title of this song goes together with that artwork, I would think. And what is your opinion of this one? I only have a small opinion. I just think that back in those days, this was an everyday thing for them, and they didn't think nothing of this type of stuff. And that's that. And we have a few science fiction books, amazing stories. Auction this day, 50 Terran females suitable as wives, slaves, sweethearts. And this is space slave aliens with space slaves or something. And I just like the cover art on this. Here we have Amazing Stories. The Beast with Seven Tails. Now, at first, I thought that was two palm trees, but then you look down at the feet, and it's actually feet, legs and feet, and there's some claws or talons there, and that must be the Beast with Seven Tails. These are all from the mid to late 50s, and the last one of those is Rasputin's Strange Powers of the Mad Monk. What's the truth about astrology? Ecuador's moon mad slayer. The stories of the strange and unknown. And my foot's going to sleep here. Lastly, I'm going to read a little poem out of the Eclectic English Classics. So selected poems and tales of Edgar Allan Poe. This was copyrighted in 1914. I have quite a small well, not a big one. I have a small collection of Edgar Allan Poe books and things around here. And this is just one little collection one here. And I'm going to read a poem. First off, there's been some movies out called Annabelle, or involving a doll called Annabelle, and it's about a killer doll. And there's a poem in here. It's called Annabelle Lee. Over here, up here, Annabelle Lee, and it doesn't have nothing to do with the doll, but it's about children, I think, a couple of kids, and his Edgar Allan Poe's stuff can be quite dreary, but at the same time beautiful. And I'm going to do my best to read this poem here, folks, so put up with me for a couple of minutes. And the video shall be over. Or just tune out now, it's up to you. It was many and many a year ago, in a kingdom by the sea, that a maiden there lived whom you may know by the name of Annabelle Lee. And this maiden she lived with no other thought than to love and be loved by me. I was a child and she was a child in this kingdom by the sea, but we loved with love that was more than love, and I and my Annabelle Lee, with a love that the winged seraphs of heaven coveted her and me. And this was the reason that long ago, in this kingdom by the sea, a wind blew out of a cloud, chilling my beautiful Annabelle Lee, so that her high-born kinsman came and bore her away from me, to shut her up in a sepulchre in this kingdom by the sea. The angels not half so happy in heaven when envying her and me. Yes, that was the reason all men know in this kingdom by the sea, that the wind came out of a cloud by night, chilling and killing my Annabelle Lee. But our love, it was stronger by far than the love of those who were older than we, of many far wiser than we, and neither the angels in heaven above, nor the demons down under the sea, can ever dissever my soul from the soul of the beautiful Annabelle Lee. For the moon never beams without bringing me dreams of the beautiful Annabelle Lee, and the stars never rise, but I feel the bright eyes of the beautiful Annabelle Lee. And so all the night tide, I lay down by the side of my darling, my life and my bride, in her sepulchre, there by the sea, in her tomb by the sounding sea. And apparently she caught a chill and got sick somehow and died when they were children, the way this sounds, and he's crying by her tomb or something. That's one of the poems of Edgar Allan Poe. It can be beautiful and sort of dark at the same time, and that was just the way he wrote, and that's why I like his stuff. And that's the video for today. And I don't know if I was pronouncing words in that right, because some of the English, the way they wrote and stuff way back in those days, we don't use those words anymore. But anyway, until next week, Calling over and out. And Weirdos Unite.